makes you a slave to the state. It's like the guy looks at me and he says to me, "You think you're living in a free country? You think this is a democracy? Of course it's not." Websites, newsletters, self-published manifestos, they think we're kooks. I mean, George Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, you know, and as ex-director of the CIA. He knew that saying that would send conspiratologists everywhere spinning their wheels, and they destroy their own credibility. Hey, don't get me wrong, sister. I'm sure your heart's in the right place, okay? But, you know, somebody's got to lift the scab, the festering scab that is the Vatican. The chip for identification so they can track down an animal anywhere he's at. You'll insert it under the dog's skin, and it's kind of like an identification thing. I mean, it's only a small, logical step till they start putting it in us and our children. And then, before we know it, my God, they'll probably come with the pretext.
It's Duncan Trussell again and Joe Rogan. This is not an old episode. This is a very recent episode. Just came out just yesterday, I believe. And we're about to hear Joe Rogan talk about a cashless society. And then Duncan likens the cashless society to the mark of the beast. And then they're officially podcasting because they start reading about Revelations. That's right. If you don't know, there's a Bible verse, Revelations. I believe it is, let me just double check here. It's verse 13, 1 to 2, 13, 11 to 18. That's the part that I'm reading right here. But they start reading about Revelations, and it gets really, really trippy. Like, I honestly, I always knew about the mark of the beast. I always knew about that thing in Revelations. But when he actually reads it out, it really, throughout the pandemic, the mark of the beast was likened to things that people had to do, right? Now, when they bring up a cashless society and they liken it to this Revelations verse, really goes in sync with a cashless society and money. I really do think so. But let's go.
How long before we're a cashless society?
Hopefully forever, dude. It is so scary to imagine losing the privacy, losing it all completely because every transaction is in the public eye or observable. You won't be able to trade. You won't be able to do anything unless you have the mark.
We should read it, because I think you're onto something.
We're opening up the book of Revelation. If you remove the ability to trade currency in a private way, you are now controlled. You are now monitored.
It also causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
One of the reasons that seems weird is because that's a code that, like, it's not like it's encoded. Like there's some kind of like other thing in there.
Jamie just pulled this up. The classical Greek word charagma, translated as mark of the beast in Revelation 13:16, can also mean any mark engraved, imprinted, or branded, stamped money, document, or coin. The mark of the beast is interpreted differently across the four main views of Christian eschatology.
Dude. So that's
I want to get this coconut water. I want to get this coconut water right here. 205. I can't pay with my hand. Have you already registered? Hell no, I ain't registered. You have to register to pay with your hand first. You got to what? Register to pay with your hand first. Oh, you got to register, son. The mark of the beast system is in place. We at the Whole Foods.
At Whole Foods, and I'm about to pay for my groceries with my... That's the coolest thing ever.
So as you can see, this is simply a palm print right now at Whole Foods, and it's going to be implemented at more than 500 of their stores. I looked into this, and actually we've got airports who have implemented this. We've got stadiums, we've got bars, we've got restaurants who have also picked up this technology. So it's gaining popularity, but for believers, we don't have to be scared, because whether it's a palm print or whether it's the microchip that has been gaining popularity over in the European countries and have also hit the U.S., whatever system that it winds up being, for the believers, we will be raptured before then. So
wrong.
Can you step to the side so you can figure this out?
I have the money.
We don't need it.
Okay, what the hell is that? When was that implemented? I don't have that.
Sorry, but we're cashless now. I had to implement the new system just to stay in business.
In Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. A new world order.
The New World Order really consists of three aspects. There is a new world political system that everyone today is calling the New World Order. As well as that, there is an economic plan for the New World Order, and that is called the New World Economic Order. In addition to those two items, there's a third plan for religion. You see, the planners of the world know that men need a religion of some kind, even if it's a false one. So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occultic religion. So really there's three aspects to this new world order. A new world economic order in which a computer chip will be injected into our hands or foreheads as a means to track, control, and identify us, and will also be used to make our purchases and scan its
Well, they've already put the program in Los Angeles. In fact, a trilateralist named Mayor Bradley, Uncle Tom Bradley, was responsible for putting this in dogs.
Right.
And your children will be considered like animals. And operating through the Council on Foreign Relations, through the Trilateral Commission, through the Club of Rome, through Global 2000, which wants to reduce the population of the planet by, 25%. 25, that's 1,250,000,000 people have to be exterminated by the year 2000.
Well, they can do that.
So essentially, this Illuminati is the group of men who control not only all the money on the planet through all the world banks and the Federal Reserve and so on, but they control essentially all the governments. And so these men are planning to bring about a global form of government that's unique in all history. It's a total enslaving system of world communism and fascism, controlled by a hierarchy in Europe that Anthony calls what? The oligarchy.
Well, no, I call it the evilarchy.
The evilarchy.
The oligarchy of evil.
So these men are satanically inspired, and of course we get that term from the Bible, which means the devil. They're satanically inspired to bring about a global form of government to every nation on earth.
How have the central bankers, this is my last slide because my 12 minutes is just up, have reacted to the truth coming out? They admit that they've been telling porkies, and now they propose to increase their power. So central bankers belatedly admit, oh, now that you've mentioned it, yes, banks create the money supply. So let's abolish that now. And also, by the way, let's abolish cash. So what should we do? Well, introduce digital cyber currency that central banks issue and control, and thereby gain total control over all economic transactions, decisions, and the whole lot you've just heard from the CEO of the GDI. So the greatest concentration of central banking power in history is really the bid they're aiming at. That's the central bank's goal. And of course, digital accounts of dissenters and regime critics could be switched off. It'd be very difficult to even purchase necessities. So this is an Orwellian dystopia of total control, the end of any freedoms. That's really what central banks are aiming at. Several central banks have, like the Bank of England, already prepared their microchip implant, RFID chip, to be implanted under your skin. And why is the sudden discussion about universal basic income from all the grassroots and inverted commas movements and billionaires? Oh, universal basic income is the bribe for you to accept the microchip. The overarching trend of the 20th century is concentration of power in the hands of the few. That's what we have to keep in mind. We have to work against this. We don't want to have these unaccountable central planners making decisions. We need decentralization, and the solution therefore is to maintain public money in the hands of local community banks, decentralize decision-making, give local people the power in the form of local public banks and local not-for-profit community banks. As I walked in, I was delighted to see that the Gottlieb Duttweiler Institute is also about Genossenschaft and cooperatives, and of course the majority of banks in Germany are cooperative banks, and that's really what we need. So
let's be quick, Kenny. Just a soda, okay? Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
A 425, please.
All right. Let's see. Kenny, keep your mask on.
Sorry we don't take cash.
Okay. 1 second. Let me...
Sorry, we don't take card either.
I'm sorry? What am I supposed to use?
Can you step to the side so you can figure this out?
Can I speak to your manager? No! Excuse me. Do you guys take checks?
We don't need it.
I have the money.
We don't need it.
Okay, what the hell is that? When was that implemented? I don't have that.
Sorry. But we're cashless now. I had to implement the new system just to stay in business.
It's okay, Mom. We don't need it. Let's just go.
I hope you understand. Oh, but hey, if you want to check out Mike's Corner store right up the street, you might have some luck.
Thank you.
We don't need it.
I have the money.
We don't need it.
Okay, what the hell is that? When was that implemented? I don't have that.
Sorry. But we're cashless now. I had to implement the new system just to stay in business.